Hello all, welcome back. So we have learnt about for loops in our previous tutorial, and the purpose of for loop is iterating over a certain set of numbers. Now we can use that for various purposes. Now, for example, if I want to find the sum of a certain set of numbers, I don't even need to have a for loop. If I again import numpy as np, and there is an array of numbers which I am entering in Python as a list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, if I want to find the sum of all these five numbers, I can just use the NumPy library here to find the sum. The way we do that is np dot. If I just click on the tab, I have this function called sum. And now if I just pass the array inside this function, I get the sum of all these five numbers. Now, if I want to find the sum of the squares of all these numbers, then I don't have an inbuilt function for me to execute. So for that, I have to create my own function. But before I create my own function, let me explain why that would be beneficial. Even without creating a function, I can find the sum of the squares of all these numbers using a for loop. And the way to do that is for I in ARR. So I'm iterating over the array ARR, and the first number I have to find the square. So let me assign that value to the variable called VAL. So VAL equal to I square. And now if I just print VAL here, let us see what exactly we are getting. So here, once I iterate over this loop, it gives me one square, it prints it, and then it iterates over again. It takes the next element in the array, which is 2. So 2 square, and prints that value 4. Similarly, 3 square, 4 square, and 5 square. So this is how the for loop is functioning as of now. Now, what I want is I want to add all these numbers and give me the final sum. So for that, what I can do is I can initialize the sum of all these numbers to be 0. And now as I keep on iterating over the for loop, I can continue appending the value of total like this. Total now becomes total, which was 0 earlier, plus whatever value we have got by squaring the first number in this array, which is VAL. And now if I do a print here inside the for loop, it will give me a cumulative sum as it proceeds through this list of numbers here. So once I execute this, it gives me 1 first, and then 2 plus 2 is 4. So 4 plus 1 is 5. Now 5 plus 3 square, which is 9, gives me 14. And 14 plus 16 is 30. And 30 plus 5 square, 25, is 55. So this is how it gives me. But I don't want the sum. I want the average of all these numbers. So to find the average, I need to complete the for loop, get the total, and now I have to divide the total by the number of elements in that array. So to come out of the for loop, I have to click on the backspace so that I'm exactly at the same indentation as the for loop. And now what I can do is I can say total divided by, now here I know the length is 5, so I can either do a hard coding of 5, but the best practice is always using the len function here in this case, because right now even the length of array would give me 5, but what if you increase the numbers here, you have 2 more, then the hard coding might not work, but len of array will always work. All right, so let me now execute this. Now if I execute this, I would be getting the average as 11, which is nothing but 55 divided by 5. All right, now if I again change these numbers, if I add 2 more numbers here, And if I execute this, I get the sum as 28 using the sum function here. And here once again I have to execute this entire code. This is just 4 or 5 lines, but I have to execute that all over again because ARR is now different. It is changed now, right? So if I execute this all over again, I get the value as 20. Or just to make things simple and easy to understand, let me execute this in a separate line. Let's say, so now you already saw the average is coming to be 20. Now if I add few more numbers here, execute this, the total is 55, but I'm not executing this line of code. If I just execute total by length of array, it would give me a different number altogether, isn't it? So what is happening here? Total, which was whatever the numbers earlier, the length of array, it takes the length of array now as 10. So that is why it is giving us a different number. So to ensure that we don't have to execute whatever number of lines of code we have done to get us the final output, what we can do is we can pass everything inside a function. Let me paste this back in the cell itself. And what I can do here is I can define everything inside a function. This is my calculation. This entire calculation I'm going to put inside a function. And to define a function in Python, we use the def keyword. And then we have to give the name of this function. Say I'm doing a square and averaging all the sum of these numbers. So let me put something like square underscore average. All right. Now for this function, I have to pass an argument which is nothing but the array. So I can use this parenthesis, and inside the parenthesis I pass the array here. I have to type the colon here, and here, just like we have for loop and while loop, we have to follow the indentation here. So let me just select all these lines and do a tab. So now everything is indented, which means these are all now part of the function. To get this value returned, right now it is just giving me the number here, but I want this returned and assigned to some variable so that I can use it in my future purpose for further calculations. So to return this, I use the return keyword here. All right. And now if I execute this, nothing has happened. There is no output because output will get printed only if we call the function. So this is the function. So let me call the function here squareAVG, and inside the bracket I have to pass something. What is the something? This is nothing but an array here, or we have put that in the form of a list here in Python. So if I pass this ARR variable here, and if I execute this, it gives me 38.5. Now if I keep changing the numbers here, 11, 12, 13, 14, and if I execute this line, it gives me the sum as 105. Now I don't have to execute this function over and over again. All that I need to do is I just have to execute this line. So once I execute this line, it gives me the new number 72.5. So this is the benefit, or these are the advantages of using a function. If we just call the function which has those lines of code, that is good enough for us to get our output. Similarly, we can do in R as well. So in R, how do we create a function? In R, we use the function keyword, function, function, and inside the parenthesis, we have to pass the array. And then just like we followed for the for loop and the while loop, we use the curly braces. And inside the curly braces, I can use this column, or I can use this entire lines in Python as it is over here. So I'm just copy pasting it over here for saving time, and that's it. So of course I don't have to do this indentation here, but just to ensure that we understand what is happening inside the code, I'm doing this indentation. So that is why I really like the way Python has been implemented. The indentation really is useful to understand where exactly we are and what lines are falling in which category. Is it for coming in the for loop or is it outside the for loop, etc. But here sometimes if we just have a casual approach towards indentation, sometimes it really becomes confusing for us. So it's always advisable to follow a standard operating procedure while executing a code, even if there are certain things that are not mandatory. If we follow indentation, it really helps us understand. All right. This is the function. Now I have to give a function name, just like we have given the function name here, square underscore avg. The way we do that in R is we have to call it like this: squa square avg equal to. So this is how a function is named in R. And now if I execute this line, I'm sorry, did I go wrong somewhere? I'm sorry, I have to, yeah. So certain things we have to follow as so certain things we have to change. So I have to change this colon here, and instead I have to put a curly braces. So I hope I have made the necessary changes now. We are now good to go. All right, this was for this for loop, and this is for the function. All right, now if I execute this, so it gets executed. Now say if I have an array as 1 2 3 4 5, and now all that I need to do is call this function square average, and inside the function parenthesis, as a parameter I just have to pass this array. So if I just run this first and then execute this line, I am sorry once again. So there is just one more change that we have to do. Len in Python, but length in R. So now that I've made some changes here, I have to execute this just once. And let's check the square average function here. It gives us the value as 0.2. Once again, just a small mistake here. So return, we have, so the for loop ends here in Python, and this return is now outside the for loop. So here we have actually put the curly braces outside. So that's something which we have to place it here. So the for loop ends here, and once the for loop is done, we get the total. The total is then divided by the number of elements in the array. So this is another mistake. So it's always good to make mistakes so that we learn. When we get a similar mistake, we know where exactly we have to rectify. So let me execute this function all over again. And array is this, and if we now execute this line, it gives us the value as 11. So even if now we change or add a few numbers here, if I just execute this, and now I just have to execute this function here. I don't have to execute all these lines of code all over again. I just have to execute this function. Now if I execute this, it gives me the new number. So these are some of the benefits of using function, wherein you don't have to repeat those codes or execute those lines of code over and over again, just because the array or the elements in the array are keeping on getting changed, just because of some of the elements in the array are either getting incremented or decremented or getting updated. So that was what I wanted to share in this tutorial about functions. I hope you got to learn something new. If you are liking my tutorial, please do subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions, doubts, suggestions, feedback, please do post them in the comment section. See you in the next tutorial. Thank you very much.